Hello, welcome back again. My name is Sylvester Langa, and this is the part 2 series of the foundational chords. And today I'm explaining how to use those foundational chords that we just learned on the previous session. Now, we learned about the major chord, the minor chord, diminished chord, and the augmented chord. Now, this is beginner's lesson but also intermediate lesson because I'm going to assume the following scenarios. I'm going to assume that you know all your major scale in all 12 keys, and I'm going also to assume that you know how to play those diatonic chords. But for the case of this lesson, I'm going to show you how you can use the foundational chords and come up with amazing sound. For instance, we are all familiar with this chord, which is C major. Now, if you want to play a C major 7, you can use the normal way of thinking and coming up with the sound of C major 7. You just combine the first scale degree, which is C major 7, C major triad, and you take another triad, which is E minor, the third. So now, the easiest way to think about this, if this is C major, now what makes this major? It's the middle note. Now if I'm playing in the root position, the E the middle note. But if I'm playing in the first inversion, now the middle note is G, but my main concern is E. And then if I'm playing the second inversion, the middle note is C. So when I refer to a middle note, I'm regarding as if you are praying in the root position. Now the middle note. So if this is the C, now what is the middle note? The middle note is E. Now I'm going to play the minor chord of that middle note of the third scale degree of that given major scale. Now if I play it like this, I get the C major 7. So now if this is the C major 7, now we don't always play the C major 7 like this. It depends with the environment that you are in. Now you come up with another concept of inversion. Now if I'm playing C like this and then like this, see, this is E minor and this is C major. So I'm getting the C major 7. So you see, very easy. Now if I invert it again, I can do like this. Because this was my minor. Now I can play it like this. Do you see? Now I have the fifth, the seventh, the third, the fifth, the first, the third. So I can play using this version or this version. So this is major 7. So I can always find easily the major 7 by just playing the third degree on my left hand or on the right hand side. It depends. You can switch. For instance, this is C major, and again I can play this is E minor. So I have E minor and C major. Still I have the quality or the sound of this chord is C major 7. So if you are not familiar with your inversion yet, the easiest way is to play the C major 7, then the third. It's very easy. Now if you go to C sharp, this was your like this. Because I know this, if I'm in the key of C sharp, this was the 1. The 3 is the F minor. So I'm playing the F minor and the C sharp major. Then I get the the what? The C sharp major 7 sound. Again, you can invert it. Now if we invert it like this, I'm inverting this. Again, I can play it like this. This is the F minor in second inversion. Then I have this one. So you see, it's also very important to know your inversion, because now I'm getting the sound of a major chord, adding the 7th degree by just playing 2 chords, which is the third and the first. The third being the minor and the first being the major. See, if you go to, let's say you go to A, this is your A. I want this A major sound. So I'm getting this sound. Why? Because on my left hand side I have C sharp minor. Because C sharp minor is the third chord in the scale degree of A. So in my right hand I have A major chord, and in my left hand I have C sharp minor. So if I combine them, I get the A7. So even if I invert it again, I can still get the sound. So depending on the inversion that I have, see? So all these are the options that I have while playing the major 7. And always, if you have your progression going like this to the 4, now I know this is D. Now what is the third scale degree of D is F. So I can play F minor, and then I get that major 7 sound. So this was the normal way. Now if I flatten the bottom note, I go direct to the major sound. See? So that is the quickest way to play the major 7, by just combining the third and the first degree. Now, to make life easier, what if I want to play a minor and I want to put some sort of dominant sound? Because in minor key, it's in rare case you find a major 7th, or the 7th scale degree of that particular chord being added. We always flatten the 7 to come up with the sound which is called the dominant. So now, for instance, this is my C minor. So I need minor 7, C minor 7. So how do I get C minor 7? As for now, what makes this minor? This one. This can make this chord major. So the middle note. The easiest way, as I said the first at the beginning of this lesson, that the thing that was making this major was the middle note. Because now if I take the middle note and bring it down a half step below, it becomes minor. Now, as for C minor, what makes C minor is just the E flat. Now I'm going to play the major 7 of that particular note. See? So I have C minor 7 or C minor, C dominant, but C minor 7, that's the common name. I don't know. I don't think of the other way of thinking about it, but that's how I can easily think of it. So see, we went from C minor to this. So what note are we going to add? This one, because this is the 7. Let me do like this. This was the 7. This is the root. The 7. We flatten the 7. We get the dominant 7. See? But as for me to pray it easier, I can pray on my right hand the E. So this is the E major chord. Just inverting the E major chord. I can play it like this or like this, because I have this free inversion. Now here I have this C minor. This is C minor. I bring the 5th below, I play it like this, then I come and put this one. So this is C minor 7. I can do it like this. It is still a C minor 7, or I can do it like this. So I can shift the hands. I can put the third chord on the left hand side, or I can put the third chord on the right hand side. It depends with the melody at that particular time. So if I put the E flat here and bring here the C minor, because if I do like this, or if I do this, let's say this, it's just the same. So you see, you can get the major 7 and you can get the minor 7. See, the easiest way, you take the 1 and the 5. And you have heard of the chord called major minor 7, minor 11th. It means that, for instance, in the key of C, this was my C minor, minor 7. If I continue adding note, this is the root again, this is the 9th, okay, and again, this is the 9th, 11, 13. So the 11th degree of that of any scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we can add the 13, which is the 6th, or the 11th degree, which is the 4th, or the 9th, which is the 2nd. So those are the extra color that we add to a chord. So we had this chord, C minor 7th, because here what we have added is on this one. If I do like this, is just the minor chord that I had before, but I'm adding this. So by adding this, I don't add like this. I think it of like I'm adding the other triad, which is the major chord. And as for this case, it's the E major chord. Now, if you play that major chord that you have added to a minor chord to make it a dominant 7th chord, you add the 2 on that chord. The 2 for the chord that you have added becomes the 11th degree of the minor chord that you are trying to combine. Let me make it clear. If you add the 2 to the chord that you have added to the previous chord, because my foundational chord was C minor. The other chord that I have brought to make it to add the 7th was the E major. See, this one. Now if I add the 2 of that chord that I've added, gives me the 11th of the C, because the 11th scale degree of the C is the F. So if I play like this, this is minor 11th. It depends with with the chord itself. As you can see, this sound C minor 11. So I'm playing this major chord, E flat major chord, but I'm adding the two of this of this scale of this chord, referring to the E flat major scale. So I'm adding the one, the 1, the 3, the 4, and the 2. So I have this kind of sound. Then on my left hand side, I have the foundational chord, which was the C minor 11. See? So on a minor chord, that's how easy you can find it. Sometimes you can add the 6, but if you add the 6, you are adding the 1, because as for this chord, this is the 6. But as for our foundational chord, this is the 1. So I think you can see how we combine the two chords and we bring about another sound. Now the other cool way for it, let's stick in the key of C. This was my 1. So if I play the 1 and the 5, what do I get? Now I have the 1, then I have the 5. This is the sound. Or you can play the 5 on the right hand and the 1 on the left hand. This kind of sound. Because this is the C and this is the G. So I'm taking the G and the 1. So 5 and 1. If you combine 5 and 1, what do you get? Combining 5 and 1, the sound that you are going to get, because here you have added the 7. So you have major 7, major 9. Call it major 9. I have two colors. I have the 9th, which is the 2, and I have the 7. Because if I remove this and this one, I remain with this one. Of course, this one is the C. Okay? So if I play 1 and 5 at the same time, I'm bringing the major 9 sound. So depending with the inversion that I have, I can have multiple sound, because this is G and this is C and G. But as for me, the sound that I want was major 9. Then, as we always know that we have a dominant chord, and a dominant chord is always chord 5 of any major scale, of any key. It doesn't matter whether you're in the key of F sharp, you're in the key of A, the 5 or the 5th scale degree, chord 5 of that particular major scale is going to be the dominant. So how am I going to find the quickest way to play the dominant chord? Is using the two chords again. You play the major triad on the right hand or the left hand, then you play the diminished chord. So for instance, the 5 for the 5 of C is this one. Then diminished chord of for chord C is this one. So if I have the diminished chord on my left hand side, this is the diminished chord. You get the diminished chord. Then I have the 5. So 5 and 7. Again, it's just like for the, because we said if I have this one and I want maybe this was the C, I want to make it major 7. I can consider the third scale degree and play it in a minor format. So I have the minor chord here, E minor. Now, as for G, I want the dominant sound. So I'm playing that middle note. Again, the middle note here is B. So I'm going to play B, diminish it. B, diminish it like this. Okay? So by playing B, diminish it and combining with the 5, I get the sound easy. Because if I invert this one, I get this sound. So here again, if this word, because it's 7 2 4 or 2 4 7. So I cannot go deeper on this concept, but at least you can see. Again, I'm continuing stressing the importance of knowing how to play the major scale in all 12 keys and knowing the foundational chords, the triads, and the triad, like the major triad, the minor triad, diminished triad, and augmented triad. And in this video, I've just showed you how you can combine the two triads to get the modern sound that you hear. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how do you find these chords in a song, because finally we want you to use this concept in a song. So in the next video, I'm going to bring a progression, and within that progression we are going to make use of these foundational chords and combining them to get polychords. God bless you. Thank you.